Congratulations, ladies. At the end of the conference, you will find out what you've won, but I gave you a little sneak peek of all the possible prizes in the beginning of this session, so hopefully that'll wet your whistle a little bit. I'm going to have a fun contest this afternoon, or this evening rather, as well. So I hope you find your debit card or whatever, because it's a fun contest to support and show our thanks to our sponsors and vendors as well. So just keep that in mind. Just wanted to tease you a little on that. So do you know that we're still selling tickets? Ladies, that's fantastic. I have, in between sessions, during sessions, have been letting people in because they're purchasing, and it's awesome. So it is not too late for you to share this event with some of your girlfriends, because all of the recordings will be available for a specific amount of time in this group. And then if you're an early bird ticket purchaser, you will have links to watch these recordings at any time. So everybody has access to the recordings for about 3 weeks to a month probably. And then after that, it'll just be available to our early bird ticket holders. So where are my early bird ticket holders? Let me know you're out there. Comment, please, in the thread. How many of you are wearing your shirts or worn them already? I've still got mine on. Yep, I am a proud You Grow girl. I better be, right, since I am the creator and coordinator of this. I'm just so excited to be bringing you this content. Make sure that you download the workbook. So the workbook is in the files at the top. If you're looking at your phone, your app, your Facebook app, if you scroll around at the top and just swipe over, you'll see where it says media or files. It's a PDF. You can look at it while you watch, or you can print it out or put it on your tablet while you watch your computer, whatever works. But there's some great info in there. In fact, the Miss Fabulous Perita Adams, her notes are quite detailed in there, which is so great, because then you can go through and highlight and write stuff in the margins. You're really going to have lots of fabulous resources by using that notebook. So look for that. You've still got time to go grab it really quick. Also, shout out tonight at 7:30 Eastern Standard Time. Our entertainment will be here, Miss Fabulous Thelma Lou, right? And last night she had a little bit of a glitchy issue, and we resolved the problem. So she's going to be coming in loud and clear and crazy and fun to make you laugh, because after all, laughter is good for the heart. It's like medicine, the Bible says. So make sure you join in. If you've got kids, it's totally kid-friendly humor. They may enjoy it too. She is silly, she is loud, she is Southern, and she is fun. So make sure you come back and watch Thelma Lou tonight at 7:30 Eastern Standard Time. And then following Thelma Lou, we'll do some prizes, we'll have some fun, and then we're going to quickly go right into the fabulous health coach, Melissa Ross. So she will speak 8-ish. I don't want to give you a specific time, but Thelma Lou will run about 30 to 40 minutes, give or take. And then we'll go right into there. So I don't want to give you a hard time on Melissa's session tonight, but hey, if you're here at 7:30, you'll just go right into it. So, all right, without further ado, I want to introduce to you Miss Perita Adams. She is a Christian life coach and business consultant. She is a firecracker. I love her to pieces. I met Miss Perita because we were both contributing authors to The Mom and Me, which is one of the prizes. In fact, it's two of the prizes. So she's contributing one of her books. I'm contributing one of mine. It's the same book, so two winners there. We'll even autograph them for you. So I met her from that experience, and we just hit it off. And I said, listen, I'm doing this thing called You Grow Girl, and I want you to be a part of it. She didn't even have to think about it. She's like, I'm in. I'm in. So I love her for that. She's got a great coaching and consulting business called the Genesis Beginning Coaching and Consulting. I know she'll tell you more about that when she speaks, as well as tell you a little bit about her story and her start. So get your PDF notebooks ready, and let me add Miss Perita to the broadcast. Hello, Perita. Hope you had time to watch this morning, get a little lunch, and now you're here. How are you doing this afternoon? Oh, it sounds like you're muted. You know, it just wouldn't be a virtual event without a little technical difficulty. Nope, still can't hear you. It's always something, right? Always something, but it is okay. There is grace. Let's see. Looks like your mic is muted. All right. Well, while Perita figures out the volume issue or whatever it is, why don't we go ahead and post in the thread? Let me hop over so I can see your comments. Oh, I see Michelle is here, Beverly, Lori. And it just says Facebook user, but it says, hi, friend. So I don't know if I'm your friend or if Perita is your friend, but hi, I'm so glad you're here. So if you were on this morning session, I would love for you to share with me what really resonated with you. What was a shout out to you, where it was a check in your spirit and you're like, yep, I got to do that. I got to get on that. Anything that you felt convicted about, anything like that you were like, you know what, I can do that. I want to hear from you. If you can put your comments in. I see Lori says, thank you for letting us watch the recording for a while. Sometimes it's super helpful to rehear. That is so true. That's so true. I mean, that kind of reminds me a little bit about what Cheryl Pullins was sharing last night, right? About like, we need to get the truth in us many different ways. And she talked about even journaling and that sort of thing. And so I think you're right, Lori, like hearing things. You know, I've even got books on audio that I can listen to in one season of my life and then turn around and listen to it in a different season. And it's like, what? You know, like it's a whole new book almost. Or same thing works for sermons. So, oh, I love that. Yes, perfectionism is a form of fear. It sure is. Yes, and we don't want to lean into fear, right? And you know, we don't mean to. It's not anything we do intentionally, but it happens. So if you can think of it from that regard, you know, maybe that'll help kind of work out some of those perfectionistic kinks, right? Okay, let's see about. I hear you.
Okay, can you hear me? It's two of me. Can you hear this one?
We can hear you. We can hear you.
I'm gonna come in. I'm gonna be too.
You know what that means? It means she's got a great message to share. So, Perita, I'll let you take over. Thank you, ladies, so much for kind of playing with me and dialoguing with me while Perita figured that out. You know, technology it's a great invention, but not always our friend, right? Thank you, ladies, so much for your patience. And Perita, my friend, take it away.
Well, thank you. Thank you. I hope everybody can hear me clearly. Oh, let me tell you guys, I have some great stuff for you today. Honestly, I have two computers up. I knew that if one didn't work, I was going to bring in another one. So you were going to hear this. And in fact, you're going to hear it double time. So thank you for your patience. Thank you for attending the You Grow Girl conference. I'm so super excited to meet you. I think I see a little lag in the video, but as long as you can hear me well, that's all that matters. So before before I get started, what I always like to do is say a little prayer. And my prayer is this, and it's very small, but it's very genuine and very needed. And this is myself today, and that is, dear Lord God, I just ask that whatever women you have brought to this conference today, Lord God, let them be fertilized and watered, and plant them in a soil that is a good soil so that they can reap a happy, healthy, confident, refreshed harvest for themselves and for their family. And Lord God, I just thank you for this opportunity. And I know that you are going to show up and show out. And so because of that, we just give you praise, honor, and glory. In Jesus' name, okay? So glad, super glad you are here. I think I had saw in a thread today, somebody asked what was your favorite season? And I immediately thought, wow, fall is my favorite season. Fall is my favorite season. Why? Because the trees, they are so beautiful. They seem to go to sleep. They seem to get that break. They seem to take everything that God creates, gets rest. And sometimes that's all we need. We need rest so we can be rejuvenated, revived, and restored. And so when I think of the fall, I think of the trees actually getting that rest that they need. They go through so much throughout the season. They go through the heat from the summer. They go through the wind in March so they can blow off and get those imperfections off of them. And then in April, they get showered with that water so they can just breathe and be refreshed. And that's how we are. Sometimes we need to have those things that are imperfections shake us. And then we need to be watered and cultivated. We need to be fertilized so that we can breathe and be refreshed and rejuvenated and reap a good harvest. So I'm glad I saw that today because I thought this is applicable for you, Grow Girl, since we are in the business of growing. All right. And with that said, I wanted to go over one or two household things that I noticed yesterday. We want to thank you, Cricket, for putting on this phenomenal event. This is awesome. This is a great conference. And, she went through a lot of prayer and a lot of sacrifice to bring that to you. And I am so thankful that she asked me to be a I want to thank the vendors and the sponsors. I don't think we mentioned Stella Hayward. She is one of our sponsors, and she is a paparazzi sponsor. And so that's what I have on today. And a beautiful necklace, right? A beautiful necklace. So their game is $5 fix-its. So if you want to get anything that is $5 and just look beautiful like me, you want to definitely follow Stella Hayward in the thread. And I think she's running a special that says anything over $25 is free shipping. Also, I wanted to thank every attendant. You are here, for a great reason. You are here because God wants you to grow. He wants you to thrive and not just grow. He wants you to thrive. And so I want to welcome everybody and thank everybody for taking their time out of the busy schedule and to, come and be watered and come and be nurtured and come and be fulfilled with great coaching so you can thrive and you can grow. So for those who wanted to come yesterday and had technological issues or, had scheduling issues or had to stay at work for an extended amount of time, welcome. And thank you for making a way to come and grow. I think that's so important. So thank you for coming. I also wanted to thank Cricket, because she said, you will be getting one of our books, The Mom and Me. And like she said, it's a 2-for-1. I'm so grateful for that. Here's the copy of the book. That's what it looks like, right? And also the phenomenal Cheryl Paulins is in here. The speaker from last night is in here. So you want to definitely look out and get that, right? The other thing is, and Cricket doesn't know this yet, but I'm giving another book of mine called Down for the Count. Bouncing back from life's blows. Many of you have been down for the count, and then you had to come back out swinging just to survive. So you'll be getting that as a giveaway and a bracelet that says, I will survive, because you will, right? And my favorite one is I Am Enough. I'm also in this book here, so I Am Enough. I'm a 3-time best-selling. All right. And so one of you will win. And it just simply to have anything added or taken away. You already have it. You just don't know it yet. And I'm about to show you where it is, okay? So, and lastly, the Gray Space Cup. This is a Gray Space that I'm bringing out this summer. And what this cup says is a cup of coffee, a sip of tea, and a lot of gray space. We need that. We need to have time for ourselves. And I'm going to bring that out too. All right. So with those things said, I definitely want to go on and get started with the lesson. But before I start the lesson in detail, I want to talk about being aware of confidence. I think Cheryl kind of touched on it yesterday, and she really resonated home with me. I think you guys who were here yesterday saw me taking a lot of detailed notes. And confidence killers are people who are around you, and they have something valuable to give, but for some reason, you don't get it. You feel worse than you normally would feel. But you're around them because they have something that you want and that will help you accentuate. But for some reason it happens. So beware of confidence killers, and make sure whoever you surround yourself with is somebody who can add value to you, and also someone who recognizes your gifts and your talents. So I wanted to bring that up because we'll be talking about confidence killers. Okay. All right. Lastly, I'm anointed and appointed. What does that mean? I'm anointed, meaning that I'm going to bring you something that's going to give you breakthroughs. And because there's a time for everything under the sun. There's a time. Even the word itself speaks of time. So I am anointed and appointed. I'm appointed to be here at this time for you so that you can grow. Right? And I even love it because I was kind of reviewing it, and it says there's a time for everything and a season for every activity under heaven, a time to be born and a time to die, a time to plant. We're being planted, right? And a time to uproot. That's growth, right? A time to kill and a time to heal, and a time to tear down and a time to build up, a time to weep and a time to laugh. Why do I bring this out? It's more to it, right? I bring that out to you guys because we talked about it yesterday. Yesterday we mentioned that you have to have time. You have to have a schedule. You have to designate your time. Said that if you don't tell time what to do, time will tell you what to do. Right? If you don't tell time what to do, time will tell you what to do. And before you know it, time will be out. So even in God's word, he speaks of a schedule. Didn't that, right? Didn't kind of feel it quite that way. You probably heard of it, but there's a time for everything. So you definitely work on your time, work on your schedule, and then you also want to look at, as I mentioned yesterday, your short-term and long-term goals, and make sure when you list those short-term and long-term goals that you prioritize them. What is more important? What is more valuable? What is more needed in order to help you grow? So definitely wanted to bring that up, because when you don't allow enough time for different things in your life, you can be overwhelmed. You can feel unappreciated. You can feel undervalued. You can feel stressed, depressed, unattractive, unknowledgeable, unrefined, and then you come up with all kind of excuses of why you can't be who you were created to be. You come up with excuses. Well, why you can't do things. Somebody would say to you, hey, come and do a conference like this. You're like, oh, I can't do it. I'm too shy. I don't know how to speak very well. I'm sorry. I would love to do it, but I can't. Let me tell you something. If somebody asks you to do something like that, trust me, they can see the value in you. Trust me, they know how valuable you are more than you do. So that's a problem. So we definitely want to work on, how valuable you are, and making sure that you allow enough time so that you can relish in who you truly were created to be. Sometimes I call it the Moses syndrome. You make every excuse for why you can't, even when help is given to you. I think Moses says, I can't speak. Well, I'll send somebody to help you speak. Well, there's another excuse after excuse after excuse after excuse. You're all right. You are enough. You got what it takes. And I'm going to show you exactly where it is. So, as Cricket has said, I am a Christian life coach and business consultant. What does that mean? I inspire, educate, and motivate women to utilize God-given gifts and talents in order to fulfill God's plan and purpose for your lives. What does that mean? A lot of people come and they say, I don't know why I'm here. I don't know what my purpose is. I don't know what I should be doing. Trust me, there's a plan and a purpose. You're not here just because. Even if you don't know what it is a plan and a purpose. You just have to find it. You just have to pray about it. You have to get around people who can see it in you and help you cultivate it. But you have it. You have it. All right. So, going into the lesson, yay, this is exciting. But what I want to tell you before we get into this lesson is a little bit about me. And that will segue into, right? All right. Well, I am the daughter of a teenage of two. That means my mother had two children as a teenager. That's pretty difficult, right? It's difficult to have one child as a teenager, let alone two. Well, my mother had two children as a teen. My mother is also one of 13. That means she's one of 13 children. So being one of 13 children, she got lost. And that would be the reason why she felt her confidence, her lack of self-esteem, because she felt lost in 13 children. Well, no, not necessarily. And I'll tell you why. Not only was I the daughter of a teenage mother, my mother actually ran into a confidence killer. She ran into a confidence killer. Remember about confidence killers? Well, this confidence killer was abusive. He was abusive, right? Not only did he abuse her physically, but he abused her mentally. She forgot who she was. She forgot all the great things that she could do. In essence, she forgot to bloom because she was or watered properly because of the surroundings that she had put herself in. She had got planted on soil that wasn't helping her to grow. And she was there and she was stuck. At least she thought she was. Pretty bad, right? But let me tell you the flip side of it. My grandmother, the mother of 13, was totally opposite. My grandmother where to go, how to get there, and didn't care if you knew that she was very frank. She was very on point and on purpose. And she had to be. She was somewhat of a disciplinarian. You got 13 kids. You better know what you're doing, right? And not only was purposeful in raising her children, she was purposeful in her life, in her confidence. You couldn't tell her who she was. She already knew it. So sometimes my grandmother would be like, hey, I love you kids, but I got to go out there and make things better. And she did. She did great. She had 13 children, several acres of land. Her and my grandpa. They had so much land. This is funny, but not really at the time. They had so much land that when we were young, we got lost in the woods. We got lost in the woods. And they had to call the fire department to come and find us. I've never been so glad to see my grandma in all my life. But I bring this up to let you know there's just two different sides of the coin. There's two different women that I was exposed to. My mother, who lacked confidence, and my grandmother, who had strong confidence. But let me say this about my mother. My mother knew the Lord. And some of you are asked, and some of you say, where's my spark? I lost my spark. And I think Shauna mentioned it. Found her spark in the Lord. But you still have the spark there. You just have to find it and have it reignited. You need people who can light for you. You need to be around people who can lift you up. And like I said, help you discover those gifts and talents, right? But my mother knew Christ. And over time, even through the abuse, she gained us. Because even though she was abused, we weren't. It's ironic, right? But I'm grateful. We were abused watching it, but we were not physically as she was. And by her giving us to Christ and giving us a Christ, not only did I discover who I was, but I discovered who that I belonged to. And that helped my confidence go out the roof. That and being the granddaughter of a grandmother who would tell you where to go and how to get there. So some of y'all are going through that. Some of you are surrounded by confidencers. And you need to know that you are somebody. So without further ado, I just wanted to share my why. I do what I do. As I say, I'm a life and business coach, and I love what I do. And so without further ado, we're going to get into Bloom. Everybody has a why in your life. There's a why you do what you do. And if you haven't discovered, take some time out with yourself and think about, why am I here? There's a reason. There's a plan. There's a purpose. Okay, so let's get started. Now, when I do conferences and stuff like this, I like to get the best out of it. So sometimes I condense it so I can get all that I need to in it. So I do acronyms and I do trivia and I do all kind of fun things like that. But for this conference, I am going to do an acronym. The acronym for Bloom. Okay, and we'll start out with B. And I know if for all of you who have been able to download a PDF, you have a copy of this. And this is something you definitely need to hold and help find out who you are. Now, I was like, oh God, I'm giving them whole of it. And he was like, yeah, you're giving them the lesson, but they need instructions for the lesson. I always like to say there's a blessing in the lesson. That means that everything in life that you have learned is attached to a blessing. It just depends on how you use that lesson in your life. Did you learn something from it? Did you change your attitude with it? Did you change your surroundings? There is a blessing in the lesson. Okay, so let's go with the B. All right, the first thing in Bloom, the first letter is B. Believe in yourself. Oh, you might myself. I know that. That's why I'm here. But you also need to know that there's someone else rooting for you. There's a seed inside of you that's planted that's saying, water me, feed me. I'm ready to go. And even as referred to the word greater, he who is in you than he who is in the world. Okay, the creator himself, he knows how great you are. He's in you. You got greatness. You carry greatness. If you don't know it, you do. It's inside of you. So he said, in fact, greater he who is in you than he who is in the world. So it doesn't matter who's telling you that you don't amount to anything. It doesn't matter who doesn't see your gifts and talents. The one that's in you knows how great you are. That seed that is in you is ready to grow. And I even love this other verse in the Bible, Matthew 13, 31, 32. And it was a parable. And this is what it says. The kingdom of heaven is like the grain of the seed that a man took and he sowed it in his field. It is the littlest of seeds, but it has grown. It is larger when it grows. It's larger. It's the largest plant in the garden. And in fact, it grows into a tree. So the birds in the air can get nests and have foundation under the tree. So I thought, wow, something so small can grow so big, so beautiful, and even provide shade. That's you. That's me. It's in there. The seed is there. You are great. You carry it. You just need to be around people who can water it and fertilize it. All right. So I wanted to put together an exercise with it. And the exercise is this: affirmations. You need to speak to yourself. You need to let yourself know. Sometimes we wait for people to give us an approval of who we are. We wait for people to make us feel good about ourselves. That's kind of strange. Why can't we make ourselves feel good about who we are? We can. So that's why I said affirmations. So I start my day with affirmations, and I have it here for you in the PDF. And what I say is this: I am Perita. That's me. I am Perita. And who I can be is up to me. I'm powerful, dynamic, strong, brilliant. I'm blessed beyond measure. You can't even measure how blessed I am. God knows every hair on my head. I think I said my head, but you know what I mean. So if you can scratch through there and say hair on my head. I am fearfully and wonderfully made. I'm fearfully and wonderfully made. If I'm fearful, I wasn't made to fear, right? But I'm fearfully and wonderfully made. Unique. Wow, there's nobody like me. Not even twins have the same fingerprints. You're unique. And guess what? I'm enough. Who God created me to be is enough. Perita is enough. You are enough. I want you to make those affirmations to yourself every day. And I want you to put your name where my name was. And anything else that you want to improve on who you are, I want you to put it there. And say those things to yourself every day. Now, Bill, learn to love yourself. Learn to love yourself. Sometimes we don't have time to love ourselves. We have to make the time to love us. And I look at the verse and it says, "For God so loved the world that he gave his only begotten son, that whoever believed in him should not perish but have everlasting life." What does it mean? That means that God loved you that much that he gave his only begotten son, his only son. Now, I have one child, and it's a boy. And I promise you, for me to give up my gift would be very hard. It would be very hard. So I want you to realize and recognize that you have to love yourself, because that God himself who created you loves you. He loves you so much, he gave up something so dear to him. So you know you're valuable. You know that. Okay, let's move on. I refer to my notes a lot, only because I don't want to miss anything. Oh, I love it here. I wanted to say, somebody said, "Well, I don't know what love is." What does love is? What is love? What is it like to love myself? What is it like to love people? 1 Corinthians 13:1, love is patient, love is kind, it doesn't envy, it doesn't boast, it's not proud, it doesn't dishonor, it's not self-seeking, it's not easily angered, it doesn't keep a record of your wrongs. You ever been around somebody and said, "You did this," and you're like, "Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to do that." Well, you did. And then next week, you remember when you did this? You remember when you messed up? Love doesn't keep a record of your wrongs. It doesn't beat you down. It is not a confidence killer. So if you're around, in fact, it gets deep. It says it always protects, it always trusts, it always hopes, it preserves, it never fails. If you're around a situation and it's missing these marks, it is bragging, it's boasting, it's pointing fingers at you, that's not love. It can't teach you how to love yourself. It is stunting your growth. It's stunning your growth. Get out of there. Get out of the situation. Go into an environment where you can feel and recognize love because you know what it looks like now, right? All right. So the exercise that I want to do this, I want you to write in your journal daily. Somebody say, oh, yeah, okay, I heard that. No, writing in your journal is crucial. It's a purge. It's a way to get it out, right? Express your thoughts, your feeling, your pain, your hopes, your dreams, and then move on. Like, get it in, write it down so that you can grow from it. Stop letting these things that are not positive stunt your growth. The other thing I want you to do is write a list, 5 to 10 things that you're grateful for daily. 5 to 10 things. I know I give this assignment to my clients one time and they were like, oh, I don't know. Let me tell you, you woke up this morning, you have a home, you have food on the table, you have a family, you have your life. I can go on. 5 to 10 things daily. Try it. I'll just ask you to try for a week. And what you'll find is you have a lot more to be grateful for than you don't. In fact, your list will grow. In fact, your attitude will change. In fact, you will realize and recognize, wow, I am enough. Wow, God does love me. So try that exercise. Let's move on to the O. So open up your mind. Open up your mind to the endless possibilities that are before you and around you. And I think I made mention here in the PDF about, the tithes and bring your tithes into the storehouse. And, God only asking for a tenth, but he asked for a tenth for the first fruit, Some of you need to invest in yourself. Some of you do not know how to invest in yourself. For some of you, this conference are hard to write. It was, and it shouldn't have been. Why? Because you didn't write this check yourself. Nothing that you have belongs totally to you. The reason why you're here and the reason why you wrote that check is because you know you need something different. You know you need something more. It's a small price to pay. Okay? So learn to invest in yourself. Don't let this be the last time. And don't let anyone else from improving. Okay? Improving on who you are and who you were created to be. John 10:10. It says the thief comes only to steal and destroy. But I came to give you life and life more abundant, right? Remember that confidence killer. He came to take things from you. So, and it's not just one, it's several of them. Learn to recognize who they are. Learn to pause. It could be somebody out there who's not adding value to you. That is a confidence killer. So if you're not getting life and life more abundantly, you're around some confidence killers, and you need to change your surroundings. So I think I have on here, sometimes we just need to do, a self-evaluation. You need to look at your job. You might need to change jobs. You might need to, surround yourself with different types of friends. Sometimes you may have taken on new debt. You may need to readjust your budget. And sometimes you have taken on a task or assignment. I think Melanie said that. And you need to learn to say no to some things so you don't burn yourself out. Words of wisdom. Stop giving up so much of your power. I'm going to say it again. Stop giving up so much of your power. You are powerful. You bring so much to this world. But when you give it away, you lose your power. Learn to invest in things that bring you value to your life. Stop letting someone else benefit with your value. Stop doing that. You're around people who ask you to do so many things. Why? Because they know your value. Even if you don't, they do. Recognize your value and who you are. So the exercise for that would be this. What I want you to do is write down those 5 sentences, starting with I am. And I think I told you that in Affirmations. I want you to get 5 postcards. Some of you might need 6 or 7, depending on how much you do in a day and how spread out you are. But I want you to write on those cards, one at a time, I am valuable. I am strong. I am beautiful. And write those down, those affirmation cards. In your bathroom, put one in your car, put one on your desk at work, put one on your desk at home. Learn to surround yourself with great affirmations about who you are and who you were created to be. Now, let's go to the other O. Own it. Own it. Own
Okay, so that was crazy. I don't know what exactly happened. Perita froze up. We lost her. Then I tried to find her again, and I was echoing. So we've had to create a new link, and I've sent it to Perita. So hopefully she will pop on here in just a minute. So we'll see, and we will add her back to the queue. Now we can bring the fabulous Miss Perita back to the stream. Are you there?
I'm here. Can you hear me?
Yay, we can hear you, we can see you. So it is what it is. And it's all good. We would just pick up and move on, and there is grace. So I will let you take over and finish up, my friend.
Thank you. Wow. Hi, everybody. I'm not exactly sure what's going on. Something doesn't want you to really grow, but which would mean own it. Own it, own it, own it. You need to take ownership of your gifts and talents. How do I take ownership of your gifts and talents? It's simple. It's so simple. Start using them. Don't allow everybody else to use them, and you don't use them. You have them. And if you're not sure, you can ask a friend, hey, what do you like about me? What do you see in me? If you don't know. But you have gifts and talents, and take ownership of them. And in fact, the funny thing is, these are divine gifts and talents. They're divine. They're unique for you. And when you let other people use them and you don't use them, then you're wasting. You truly are. You're already equipped. You have exactly what it takes in order to be successful, to be vibrant, to be strong and beautiful. Some of you feel inadequate, but because you don't know your gifts and talents. But that's because you just have to know when enough is enough. You have to say, I have got to tap into my gifts and talents. Even flowers and trees, they push through. Flowers push up at the ground. Why? Because they want people to see how beautiful they are. You can't see how beautiful they are if they stand the ground. So you have to. So write down on short-term and long list. I would say 3 of each and prioritize them and go for it. And the last thing is M, mind over matter. Somebody has that saying, if you don't mind, it doesn't matter. Well, yeah. So mind it. Change your mindset. Even Philippians 4, 6, and 7, do not anxious for anything. Everything, give prayer and supplication and thanksgiving, and let your requests be known to God. Right? So, but don't be anxious in anything. Some people say, I'm afraid though, out there and I fail. What if I get out and things don't work out? Oh, I feel sick in my stomach. You know why? That little seed, that seed that I was talking about early, is in there. It's screaming to be watered. It's saying, feed me, water me out. Let me bloom so people can see how beautiful I really am. So, what is your in this one? Well, you have to organize. You have to get organized. And you have to prioritize. And you have to make sure that things that are invaluable to you come to the surface so you can be vibrant, so you can show how much growth you have had. So, with that said, I want to say, go out there and bloom. Bloom. Show everybody who you are. Be your best self. And live and love out loud because you're beautiful. And don't let anybody take that. Put yourself around people who can help you ooze that spark, because you got it. It's there. Remember, that seed is screaming, is calling, is saying, let me out. Let me out. Let me bloom. So thank you for having me this evening. I enjoyed this conference, and I'm so glad to offer you this lesson on how to bloom. Remember, there is a blessing in this lesson. It's a blessing there. So it all depends on how you use this lesson. So use it and grow. Thank you.